The sun bled across the sky, staining the clouds in deep crimson and sickly violet as it sank behind the trees. The campground flickered with life, crackling fires, scattered laughter, the faint clink of roasting forks and glass bottles. Shadows stretched long and thin, creeping like fingers across the forest floor. A gentle breeze whispered through the tall pine trees, bringing with it the damp, earthy breath of moss and decay. Insects chirped, an owl called once, then silence. As night falls, they spark a fire, its warm glow flickering against the dark. Beers in hand, they settle in around the flames. No words needed, just the quiet crackle of the fire and the comfort of shared silence. Jack, hey, want to see something cool? Kyle, what do you have in mind? Jack, there's an old cave system nearby that we can check out. Would be a cool place to check out at nighttime. Kyle, yay, sure, fuck it, why not? Be kinda cool to check out, maybe even see a ghost or two. Jack, Pete, and Kyle broke from the warmth of the campfire, clutching a six-pack of beer, and wandered toward the nearby cave. The entrance yawned open, a black mouth in the hillside. The cave breathed cool, stale air, carrying the scent of wet stone. Jack's flashlight sputtered as they stepped inside, the weak beam dancing along ancient rock formations that twisted like frozen screams. Their voices bounced back at them in warped echoes. Finding a cozy dry spot, they cracked open beers. The hiss of carbonation broke the silence of the cave, Jack. You could cut the silence with a knife in here. Spooky as hell. Kyle, yay, well, luckily I brought some horror stories with me. These should be good in a place like this, Pete. Man, screw you guys. This place gives me the heebie-jeebies, Kyle goes on, to telling a few horror stories, and the three of them laugh and joke about them. Eventually, the cans were empty. Jack and Pete slumped against the stone wall, drunk and unaware. Kyle, buzzed but restless, stood up and wandered deeper into the cave, muttering something about needing to piss. Kyle, gotta drain the lizard men, hold down the fort. As he pushed farther in, the air grew colder, and stale Kyle stumbled into a narrow alcove, hidden by jagged stone. The beam of his flashlight froze on the ground, a chaotic scatter of animal skulls, raccoons, deer, something human-sized, bones picked clean, bits of cloth half burned, a rusted doll with its eyes gouged out. Kyle, Jesus Christ, what the hell is this place? At the center, a shard of mirror leaned against the cave wall. Kyle stepped closer, the glass reflecting not just his face, but something behind him, massive, hulking, covered in matted hair and glistening with moisture. Breathing, Kyle turned to scream, but the flashlight flickered and darkness swallowed him. His scream echoed through the cave, twisting and breaking into something primal. Jack jolted awake, disoriented. Pete blinked groggily, still drunk. They heard Kyle's scream, then silence. Fear cut through their haze like ice water. They staggered to their feet, calling his name, tripping over empty beer cans, panic rising. Then came the growl, a low, guttural rumble that vibrated through the walls. Jack slipped, his ankle twisting with a sickening snap. He fell, gasping in pain. Pete reached for him, pulling Jack upright, then froze. A massive silhouette emerged from the dark. The creature was nearly 8 feet tall, its eyes glowing faintly, teeth slick with saliva. It snarled, a sound like stone grinding on bone. Before either of them could react, it lunged. Pete dodged, but Jack fell again, screaming as the creature's hand wrapped around his leg. He was dragged backward into the dark, his scream rising into a horrific crescendo. Then silence. Pete, breathless and wide-eyed, fled the cave. Twigs snapped underfoot, his lungs burned. He ran faster back to the campsite to get help. Pete tore through the trees, branches lashing at his arms. The overwhelming fear was practically shocking. His heart pounded like a war drum in his chest. Every snapping twig behind him could have been it. That thing from the cave, still hunting, still hungry. He made his way to the camp owner's site. It felt deserted, eerily still, as if no one had been there for days. "Hello?" Pete shouted, voice hoarse. "Someone, please, help." No answer was heard. He grabbed his phone, hands shaking. One bar, just enough. He tried calling the ranger station. Static. Called again. The screen froze. Then, call failed. A cold weight settled in his stomach. The world was going dark, one signal, one soul at a time. From the tree line, something shifted. A massive silhouette moved just beyond the edge of the firelight, silent, deliberate, watching. Pete didn't see it, not yet, not wanting the beast to catch up. He forced himself onward, legs heavy but unwilling to stop. Then, light. A fire flickered in the distance. Hope surged. As he stumbled into the glow, he found a group of 4 campers huddled close to the flames. Their conversation died instantly, eyes wide with alarm as he emerged from the darkness like a ghost. "You've got to help me," he panted. Someone is out there. It killed my friends. It's not human." They exchanged confused, worried glances, but didn't hesitate. One camper, a tall guy with keys in hand, volunteered to drive to the ranger station. "Stick close to the fire," he said to the others. "I'll be back." The car disappeared down the dirt path. Silence returned, and in that silence, a crack. From the darkness above, a rock soared through the air, whistling like a bullet, before caving in the skull of the girl nearest the fire. Her scream was cut short with a sickening crunch. She dropped like a puppet with its strings cut, her blood hissing in the flames. The others barely had time to scream. A monstrous shape exploded from the brush, grabbing the second camper by the throat. He flailed, kicked, but the Ape-Man hurled him like a toy into the fire pit. Flesh sizzled, his screams became gurgles. Pete ran. He didn't look back. 2 other campers tore into the forest beside him, branches clawing at their clothes, breath ragged and fast. Behind them, the sounds of pursuit, a heavy, dragging gait, monstrous breathing, followed like the inevitability of death. The woods were colder now, deeper, darker. Pete and the 2 surviving campers all tried to find hiding spots on the forest floor, barely daring to breathe. The forest was too still, the kind of still that meant a predator was nearby. Somewhere behind them, twigs snapped. A low growl echoed through the trees. The Ape-Man was close. It moved with terrifying patience, like it knew they couldn't run forever. Like it enjoyed this. Pete heard it, a camper nearby, whimpering softly in the dark. And that was all it took. The sound sliced through the silence, just enough for the creature to find them. A blur of shadow, a guttural scream. The camper vanished into the dark, dragged away by something immense and merciless. Pete fumbled through the pitch-black night until he found the other camper. He dropped to all fours, moving as silently as a shadow, each inch bringing him closer to their desperate form. "We have to move," Pete whispered, but it was already too late. The creature found them. It burst through the trees with impossible speed. Pete and the last camper bolted, but Pete could only hear their scream behind him, knowing that the creature got them. He didn't stop running until the trees opened up and the ravaged campground returned. Tents torn, blood-soaked, the fire now embers. Alone. Again. He stumbled toward a supply box, ripping it open. His hands found a flare gun, dull hatchet, anything. Then, it stepped into the clearing. The Ape-Man, eyes burning like coals. Its massive body loomed forward, each footstep slow, confident, final. Pete backed toward the flickering embers of the dying campfire, clutching the dull hatchet. The Ape-Man emerged from the darkness like a nightmare made flesh, towering, blood-matted, its eyes glowing with predatory rage. It stepped closer, one slow, thunderous step at a time. Pete raised the hatchet, trembling. This was it. The beast lunged. Bang! A thunderous shot rang out. The creature jerked violently mid-strike, a crater blown into its chest. It staggered, bang! Another shot tore through its skull. The ape-man crumpled to the ground, lifeless. Blood seeped into the dirt. Pete gasped, blinking in disbelief. A figure stepped from the trees, the park ranger, rifle still smoking. He stared at the creature's body, face grim. "You okay, kid?" he asked. Pete nodded numbly. You killed it." The ranger didn't answer immediately. He knelt beside the corpse, poked at it with the barrel of his rifle, then frowned. "This one's different," he muttered. "Smaller." Pete's stomach twisted. "What do you mean, this one?" The ranger didn't look up. There have been reports going back decades, always the same story. Disappearances, blood, bones. He slowly stood, his voice low. "No one ever believed it. We told everyone of their existence. We just haven't been able to find one in the flesh until now." Suddenly, deep within the forest, another sound echoed through the night. A distant roar, deeper, louder, more primal, and it was getting closer. Pete turned, his breath catching in his throat. The ranger looked at him with a hollow expression. "Run,"